Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another reading. I hope you're all amazing, having a good day, night, whenever you're watching this. It's going to be another twin flame reading. So, stay if you're feeling called to watch. If not, maybe another one of my readings is for you. So yeah, let's get into it. Now, let me just quickly. Okay. Excuse me. Last time. Okay. We're going to start off with your energy. So, Spirit, what energy is the viewer in at the moment, please? Okay, one more. Okay. So, we have air, fire. So, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. 3 on the timer. Okay. So, we have Temperance. We have the Six of Swords in reverse. The Two of Wands in reverse. The Strength card in reverse. And the Queen of Wands. So, what I'm getting is you're struggling to let go of your old self, right? In order to progress in life, in your journey, in whatever, there needs to be change, right? And in this case, that change is letting go of your old self so you can make space for the new version, right? 4 on the timer. And I mean, it's hard. It's scary walking into the unknown, but technically, you already know how your life is going to pan out. Because if you're getting these nudges uh, about like your purpose and in the future, like a certain house that you're going to live in or that you want to live in, certain cars that you may want to have, or just take it as it resonates. Could be anything. 543 on the timer. Um, so yeah, I feel like you're having a hard time letting go, and you may be like annoyed with yourself, or um, these feelings that you're having, especially after Mercury retrograde, right? If you um, are struggling to let go of the past version of you, right? You can't make space for the new. So until you let go and build the strength and the courage to leave the past behind and walk in to the highest version of yourself, then and only then will things start to uh, progress for you, right? Now, I feel like there needs to be more balance in your life. I feel like you um, sometimes we get hyper focused on certain things, right? So let's say if you are focused on your purpose and only your purpose, 823 on the timer and 828, then you're not making time for other things that also need your attention in your life, right? So in that case, you would need to balance things out in your life. So maybe you're neglecting your mental health, trying to work on your purpose to see if that uh, will help or start to change things. 923. And that is not right. It's like when people say money doesn't buy happiness, right? Like if you won the lottery, let's say you won 180 million, right? And it's gone within the year because you use it to you spend and spend and spend trying to fill the void that would have been filled if you didn't neglect your mental health, or if you didn't avoid your reflecting and trying to fix what's wrong, right? And you need to bring more love into your life, right? Sorry, there's a crow flew past the window and I'm actually getting distracted. Bring more love into your life, right? In the everyday, and give yourself more grace, right? If you fall back into old habits, right, that just means that you weren't as ready as you thought. Maybe there's just one last thing that you needed to work on, and you let your you let your ego get the better of you in thinking that you were ready, right? So you stopped going within and you started focusing on whatever else, 1, 2, 3, 4, and these things happen for a reason, right? For you to reflect and to fix things. When you mess up, right? When you fall back into an old habit, or yeah, it's literally just the universe trying to show you what you need to work on. And sometimes we can internalize that into thinking that, or especially depending on wounds that you may have, if you internalize that and you're like, oh, fuck's sake, I messed up, and you're just putting more guilt and shame on your actions when you don't need it, right? So bring more love to the table, 1, 4, 3 on the timer, and have more compassion for yourself, so you don't so when we put more guilt and shame on ourselves for mistakes, or yeah, the only thing or person that's affecting is yourself. And when we try and Okay. It's like if you're at the beach and you're digging a massive hole, right? 3, 2, 1. You're building a massive hole. You're in the hole. It's massive. You're still digging and digging. Let's say you digging is a metaphor for um, fuck it. What was I gonna say? You digging is a metaphor for your shame and your guilt towards your mistakes and things that happen, right? And then all the sand that has been dug out that's piling up on the surface, that is when you're done with all the guilt and shame and you start to 1616 and you start to um, have more love and compassion for yourself and you start healing them guilt and shame wounds, that extra dirt on the surface that you have dug up, the more you dig and the more you shame and guilt yourself, the longer or the harder it is to refill that hole, right? So try and have as much compassion for yourself as possible, right? If if okay, just take it however it resonates, but um if you fall back into an old way or anything like that, go within, find out what your body is trying to tell you, right? Your body knows all about you and your mind, right? You don't need anyone outside of yourself to tell you about yourself. So I know that's a bit of a contradiction, but you know what I mean. Like if like therapy, having someone to talk to is amazing, right? But a lot of therapy is just for money, and they let you sit there and vent, take your money, put you on tablets, and send you out the door and wait for your next appointment for more money, right? Therapy, in my opinion, is one of the biggest scams going. And like it is for people who are self-aware anyway, but for people who like aren't self-aware, that's just because you're too involved in your own bubble. Like you don't like you still have rose colored glasses on about the world, right? So if you ever have a problem with anything, just go within. Okay. We're going to get your person's energy. Okay. So, spirit, what are the viewers? No, what energy is the viewer's person in at the moment, please? Thank you. One more. Okay, so we have the Nine of Cups in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, the Page of Pentacles, the Five of Cups in reverse, and the Nine of Swords. Okay, so water, earth, so Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, and Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay. So I feel like your person is just nervous. Yeah, nervous, but like more so they're in their head about excuse me, whether whether what they've sown is enough, right? So that they can reap the rewards, i.e., you, when they've healed. But yeah, your person may be going through a rough time, especially after Mercury retrograde. Because that's got everyone fucked up. Yeah, I feel like they were using alcohol or substances, whatever, to distract themselves from you so that they wouldn't have to rise up and make the change within themselves. And they're finally starting to realize how bad it is and how it's affecting them. And they're trying to 246 on the timer. They're trying to do the work, right? And to get to the stage where they can come back in, right? But between people's opinions, just their how they perceive themselves because of their childhood. Okay. Yeah. So they're still just working on wounds uh, that are holding them back, like fear of rejection, abandonment, the fear of not being adequate enough. Yeah, they want to offer you stability, right? But they're being guided by their intuition. And only then will they come back in, because if they come back in and not ready, that's just going to ruin things, right? So, okay. Okay, Spirit, what does the viewer need to know at the moment? We have the Empress, the Ace of Pentacles in reverse, the King of Wands in reverse. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. The Chariot in reverse, and the Tower. So, you need to embody the Empress energy, right? And you're focused on money too much, right? Maybe you're in your head about your purpose, like if your work is good enough, or right, like especially if you're only starting out, right? There's not many eyes viewing your content, or whatever your purpose is, however it resonates. And there's some delays, right? Because you're focused on the wrong thing, right? Unfortunately, you need to have faith that the universe has got you, right? That if there's ever a bill that needs to be paid, the universe has got you. If you're if you need to buy food, the universe has got you, right? You have to have faith in that and really believe it, because Rome wasn't built in a day, right? So you're not going to have a million followers overnight. I mean, it's possible, 3, 4, 5 on the timer, but you wouldn't be able to handle that. Maybe your nervous system wouldn't be able to handle that, having that many eyes for your content, right? Especially if you have a visibility wound. Now, the longer you take to start this change in your purpose to where you're focusing on helping people instead of waiting on the money, right? As I've said in other readings, everything is energy, right? Emotions, energy, emotion. Uh, Money, right? Have a look at the similarities to money and water, right? So you have liquid assets, and then you have frozen assets. Then I have some more, but I'll try and think of them. Right. If you're focused on money, you're focused on the lack because it's energy, right? Um, you will be rewarded, right, for the work that you do in raising the collective consciousness of the earth, right? You will be rewarded a lot more than you think. I know it's hard to think from your perspective now because maybe you're only starting out, or you're if you make content or music or art, your your content hasn't taken off, right? And that's kind of putting you off. And then bills come and you start worrying about them. So then there's just a constant worry about money or the lack thereof. And you end up falling into old ways, old habits, right? The longer you wait to get rid of these ways of thinking and the lack mentality, this bitch is fucking falling. And I I feel like in the moment it would be the worst thing to ever happen to you. But in hindsight, a few weeks, a month, a few months down the line, you'll realize that it was for your highest good. And
look, everything happens for a reason, right? When you if you've ever heard of the burnt toast theory, right? If you are getting ready in the morning for work and you put some bread in the toaster and you go off and do some stuff, start getting ready, and you come back down to eat, and there's the two pieces of toast are just black, like burnt to a crisp. You then have to put that in the bin or scrape it off, whatever. But you put it in the bin, and then it takes a few minutes to put some more bread in the toaster to toast it. And that couple of minutes that you wasted making your breakfast could have been a few minutes that saved your life, right? If you were going to work, you could have gotten into a car crash, right? Or if you're trying to leave the house and you keep losing things, like can't find your key, and you find that, then another thing is missing, can't find that, find it, then another thing is missing. Don't leave the fucking house. Don't open that door. You are being protected from something, right? Now, when you are working on your purpose, it's the same, right? You will be protected. Your bills will be paid somehow. Doesn't matter how, they will. Maybe you get some extra money back in your tax, or you find €2 on the ground and you go in and get a scratch card and win 5 grand, right? Anything can happen. You just need to have faith that what you're doing is for the higher good of yourself, the collective consciousness of the earth, and that the universe has your back while doing so. And I know it's hard, especially when you have responsibilities like children, maybe you have a job, uh, cars, a house to pay for. It's hard. But if your brain is the most powerful supercomputer that can ever be replicated, right? The power that your brain has is insane, and it's mad that we can't even use most of our brain. Like, I swear, like 40 or 60% of our brain is unused because we're not like tapped into that yet. When we raise the vibrational frequency of the earth and the collective consciousness of the earth and us, we will get that, right? But you just need to have faith, and you will be rewarded, right? Sometimes we like to ignore the little things because we just don't notice them, right? But it's little things like that. Like, as I said, if you found some money on the ground and you went in and bought a scratch card or a lotto ticket, right? You would see that as you being lucky, right? But in actual fact, you are working on your purpose and you're being protected. And let's say you won 10 or 15 grand from the lotto, then you would have money for bills. Maybe they were seeing if you can handle it, right? Because a lot of people want a lot of things, right? Not a lot of people can handle the things that they want. Like these readings, right? Obviously, twin flame readings, but they're also about healing and trying to be the best version of yourself possible, right? And someone has their backlight on and I can just see it out of the corner of my eyes, really pissing me off because it's bright outside. Oh, never mind. I think it's on a sensor. It just went off. So yeah, that little win was for all the work that you've been putting in, but you're like, oh, I'm just so lucky because I found money on the ground and then I won. But that was put in place so you could keep living and focus on your purpose, right? So let's see. Spirit, what does the viewer need to be doing at the moment, please? Excuse me. Excuse me. Right. Five of Wands, 4411 on the timer. Five of Wands, yeah. The Emperor in reverse. Ten of Swords in reverse. 4422. Four of Pentacles in reverse. The Six of Cups in reverse. And the Knight of Wands in reverse. Excuse me. So, we love this passion that you have for your purpose, and it's like a new lease on life, right? But sometimes we can overconsume, right? So when we're too in our head about numbers or or whatever, right? Don't focus too heavily on one thing, right? So if you're working on your purpose, don't neglect other things that are going on in your life. Same thing when your person comes in, don't neglect your purpose. That just means you have more stuff to work on, okay? Okay. Take it if it resonates, but you may need to work on your masculine energies, right? Maybe there's just a small bit left to work through. Yeah, and we all like competition, right? So sometimes competitiveness can ruin something, right? So in sports, when people are really competitive and they become unsportsmanlike, I think that's the word. And it kind of just ruins the game. Like, why are you being a dick? It's the same with anything in life. When you become too obsessed with being the best version of yourself, you're always trying to work on yourself, always healing, you're not living. And that's the whole point of life, is to live. Yeah. Especially if you have pets, start going on more walks. If you don't have any pets, still go on walks, get out in nature, walk around barefoot on the grass, start hugging trees. The only reason you wouldn't be doing that is if you care about other people's opinions. And if you care about other people's opinions, you have more work to do, right? Who gives a fuck if someone sees you hugging a tree? The only reason why they would be taking the piss out of you is if they're insecure. So why do you care if they're insecure or not? Right? I feel like there's been a lot of things recently that may be getting you down. And it's like, it may feel like one thing after another just getting struck down, right? If you feel like that, ask yourself why. Just question everything, really. But in this case, try and see why you're 5 to 5. You feel like this because you obviously feel that way for a reason, and that reason is probably to try and fix why you feel like that or why things are happening, right? And it's all about perspective, right? If so, there's two people, right? Dave and John. Dave is a pessimist, right? John is an optimist. Negative things keep happening to Dave, and he's like, "Oh, I hate my life, blah, 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 blah. These things keep happening, and it's so bad, it's annoying, whatever." John is an optimist, and he sees why these things are happening to him. He's aware that there's something that he needs to work on. Who do you think is going to get further in life? And that's not even being bad or negative, right? If you constantly view the world as being shitty, it's the world is going to show you how shitty it really is, right? At the start of like when I first started getting into spirituality and things like manifesting and all that, I used to start off like with things I want to manifest, right? But my mindset wasn't in the right place. So I was just manifesting shit because I didn't realize at the time that we're constantly manifesting. Like, it's like the analogy of being late. If you're late for work and you're in your car, there's two people late for work, right? The exact same scenario, leave at the exact same time, like nothing is different. We just swap the person in the car each time, right? So Dave and John again. Dave is like, "Oh, I'm going to be late. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble off work, blah, 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 blah." He's been pessimistic about the traffic and how late he's going to be. The more attention he brings to him being late and the traffic, the more obstacles and the more traffic is going to get in the way, and the worse he's going to get, right? But if you're John, I think if you're John, you're sitting there, you're like, it's okay, I'll make it in time. Even though there's probably like no chance you would normally make it in time if you were just any normal person. Like if you weren't, okay, there's Dave, John, and Peter. Peter's in the middle. Peter doesn't really care about traffic, but also he doesn't want to be late. So he's like 50-50. 5-4-5 and 5-4-5-4. So John will get there on time, even though he would have been late if he was Peter, right? It's all about your mindset. If you focus on the good, more good will happen, right? Like when you start to notice the beauty out in nature, like the birds, the butterflies, the plants, just like flowers, insects, right? If if you are full of love, love will find you. If you are full of happiness, happiness will find you. If you're full of hate, hate is going to find you, right? It's all about your mindset. And this is what I was saying earlier about your brain being a supercomputer. Whatever you believe is true. You can be the poorest person in your country. Like, you have nothing. You barely have any clothes, don't have a house, don't have a car, don't have food. If you change your mindset and you work on your mind and your thoughts, you can change your reality. But that all depends on you. 5656 and 654. Yeah, that all depends on you, right? When I actually remember when I got into like manifesting and all that, I saw it somewhere online, maybe YouTube or something, and it didn't work for me because my brain was so rooted in negative ways of thinking, like if I was manifesting money or whatever. Now that's changed, but at the time I was playing Fortnite with two of my friends from school, and I think this was like around COVID, maybe just after, just before, somewhere around COVID, and I was trying to teach them how to do it, and I was like, all you have to do is believe, right? I was like, okay, we were on a losing streak in Fortnite, right? We just couldn't win a game, and we were like, okay, I'm manifesting this fucking win now. We're going to win this game. And I told my two friends, I was like, you have to believe that we're going to win, and we win, right? And we won because the collective is much stronger than one person, right? Hence why when I talk about raising the collective consciousness of the earth and of the world, we we can change so much with just our minds, especially all of us working together, right? There were and the more people that awaken, right, the more they, or the higher the collective consciousness will rise, and the better the world will become. Jesus Christ. Again, same as yesterday's reading, didn't get much sleep, so bear with me. But you need to Okay. Sorry, I had to do something. Yeah. So you should start doing start healing your inner child, right? So start. Okay. So obviously you had dreams and wishes from when you were a child, right? So you would have to start doing them wishes. 11:11. Okay, for me, every year I ask Santa for a dirt bike, right? Didn't I never got one. So if I was to get a dirt bike, right, it would heal something inside of me because it's something that I've wished for so long, right? Um, or this, your purpose, right? Your purpose is usually tied to a dream you had when you were a child, right? And by a dream, I don't mean like dreams in your sleep. Could be, but I mean like your dreams and wishes, like your goals. Um, Start nurturing your inner child and just be careful of being greedy. Um, Although money does make the world go round, it's not end all be all. We 1313. You don't really need money. Well, you don't need anything in life, but some things do help. And I know it can be hard, trust me. But as I've said, you just need to 357 on the timer. Just need to have faith, 143, that what you're doing is working and it's helping you reach the highest version of yourself, which is you in these dreams, in these visions that you had, these nudges about where you're living, that kind of thing, as I said earlier. That's all you. Don't be scared about uh, feeling inadequate. Maybe at 456, maybe you don't feel like your work is good enough. Maybe you make music and you just haven't found your rhythm yet, right? maybe you personally aren't the problem. Maybe it's your work. Maybe you sleeping the cat out. 543. Maybe you are in the wrong genre, right? Maybe you come from a background where you only listen to rap, or someone who listens to jazz, right? If you come from, like, if all your friends listen to rap and you start making music, you're going to want it to be rap because you don't want people to think that you're not like manly, not masculine, yeah? Which is bullshit anyway, but you are only doing rap because of the opinions of others, right? So mess around with the decks. Uh, Try different things out. Just because you just because you're doing the right thing doesn't mean it's right. Yeah. So let's see. Spirit, what are the viewers' actions? Next actions in their connection, please. Mm, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Okay. So Nine of Wands reversed. Knight of Cups reversed. Queen of Swords reversed. King of Pentacles reversed. The Hermit. Okay. So your person is just nervous about making the wrong decision, right? Um, yes, they are waiting on their intuition to give them the green light, but they aren't sure on their intuition. at the same time. So what do we have? Fire, water, air. Oh, we have all the elements. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Earth, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. 11, 11, 1, 1, 1. Yeah, okay. So, they want to offer you stability and they want to communicate and come in, tell you how they feel. But they're just quite not ready yet, right? They are. They are in isolation and they're working on themselves. Thank God. So just have more patience, right? Okay. So in the twin flame relationship, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have our first union. You don't have to be together. I just mean when you first meet, everything's good before things go south, right? So when things go south and you go into separation, you start learning about your purpose, right? And that's when you start working on it. And although your person is the reward for your purpose is also a distraction from your person, right? 3, 4, 5, so that you can uh, have time away, heal what needs to be healed, build that purpose, like your business, whatever, build it up, and then for some people, you and your person, well, I'm not really sure now. I'll look into it, but your person, when they're ready, and you come back into union, you have a new venture to start, right? Whether it's your person helps you or you start something new completely. 4 for 4. Uh, yeah. Mm. Yeah, like your person knows what they want now, right? They are aware of of the connection, what it is, why things are the way they are, 333. So now it's just there's some time for them to go within and heal, right? Which is what they're doing. So when readers say focus on yourself, stop thinking about your person, right? For someone who is not really doing anything, that's fucking impossible. But if you're working on your purpose, you won't have the time to be constantly thinking about your person. Okay? You have to do things to take your mind off them because sorry, a fly just flew into the window. Um as I said, right? Where you put your attention is where things are gonna be attracted to that, right? So if you okay, normally I don't do genders, right? But in this circumstance, if you're a man, right, you shouldn't be wasting your life force, right? You know, uh, people that do that, they are depressed, they are riddled with anxiety, they over sexualize things and people. It's a sin, basically, right? And when you, like, if you've been through that already, you'll know how damaging it is, right? And it's like, okay. So when you waste it, you're just giving away free energy, right? That's why people that do it are always drained, always look like a shell of themselves, basically. Like, if you're aware I'm sure you know what kind of people I'm referring to, but there's one group that is constantly in the media. They invented pornography, right? So, you know, all them shitty, lustful fucking movies that are all about like weird shit, all made by the same people, same kind of people, maybe not literal people, but you know what I'm trying to say, right? We need to uh, save our life force and turn it into something else, right? Have a look online. There's like meditations where you have to visualize, don't quote me on it, let's just say like an energy ball field, right? And it's going up your body and then down around and whatever, right? And you basically are using your life force for something good, for good, instead of literally wasting it or wasting it by not harnessing it, right? So same with women. I know it's a bit different, but just be wary. Uh, your person is doing the work, right? They are just being guided into healing, and when they're ready, they'll come back up because they don't want to ruin it, right? Okay. Bit of a longer ramble today, but I'm done. I'm tired. I think I might go to bed. But thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, leave a like, subscribe, hit the bell notification button, and if any of it resonated, let me know in the comments below. And I hope to see you for another one tomorrow. Thank you. Goodbye.